Hi everyone, Renee here, and today we are talking about Marula Oil. Specifically, we are comparing the one from Drunk Elephant with the one from The Ordinary. So this was my most reached for oil for like the past 5 to 6 months. It was my go-to throughout the winter. It was a complete skin saver. I see Marula oil as kind of like a luxury moisturizer in that it's so jam-packed with antioxidants. In fact, it's one of the richest oils in antioxidants. It's got about 60% more than what you would find in argan oil. It's also full of flavonoids, vitamins, omegas. I mean, this is a deeply, deeply nourishing facial treatment. This is a great oil for anti-aging, but also because it's richer in its fatty acid composition, in that it's got a higher percentage of oleic fatty acids, which are the heavier ones. This is also fabulous for drier or dehydrated skin. If your skin is dehydrated, this will surely keep the moisture in your skin. If you're acne prone, I would be cautious with this oil though. That being said, this is also naturally antimicrobial, so this is great on healing skin. It will nourish it and protect it. In fact, now that I'm actually experimenting with higher percentage acid treatments or different types of retinoids, my go-to treatment is this. I feel like it just soothes my skin so much in a way that other oils just can't. One of the things that I love the most about this oil is the undeniable radiance you get from it. A lot of you are always asking me about the glow that I have in my videos. I gotta tell you, it's this. What's amazing though is even though it's a richer oil, the absorption rate of Marula is phenomenal. In my experience, it's one of the fastest absorbing oils and least invasive. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this has a very small molecular weight. In fact, the absorption is so efficient that I find that when I mix this with other products or when I use other products on top of this, everything absorbs better. In fact, one of the first things I did notice about this oil, other than that beautiful glowing radiance, is its tendency to not stay on the surface of your skin in this sort of oily layer. And I think that adds to the luxury aspect of this oil as well, that despite being so highly nourishing and rich, it's got this beautiful cosmetic elegance to it. Marula oil is also a relatively more stable one. In fact, I love the way it looks. It's like a completely clear oil. This has a far longer shelf life. So I'm going to be reviewing and comparing the Marula oil from these two brands specifically because it's the ones that you guys want to know about the most. And honestly, even for myself, I was really curious about how these would compare. So this is cold pressed, which is an oil extraction method that doesn't use any applied heat. So the nutritional quality of the oil is not affected at all. There is going to be some heat generated from like the friction of the grinding and the pressing, but it won't affect or damage the oil. As you can see, it's colorless, it's clear, it has no scent whatsoever. It spreads on the skin beautifully and gives this glowy radiance. This doesn't feel greasy on the skin to me, but it does sit on the skin in a way that makes it feel really nice and soft. I really feel like this oil does stand out in its skin softening effect. Whenever I'm using the strong acid treatments from The Ordinary, I just pop this on and my skin is so happy. It looks amazing too. Another way in which I love using this is mixed in with some of the liquid treatments as well. Whether it be buffet, hyaluronic acid, matrixyl, any of them. I like to put a few drops of this in it, mix it up, and apply it before moisturizer. This sits just under the $10 mark, and I would say a lot of equivalent oils out there are more expensive than this. So I've tried the Shea Terra Marula and also this one from Acure. I feel like these other Marula oils are heavier and greasier. I don't know why, but it definitely feels that way on my skin. I did ask the monkeys how they're producing their oils for so much less than the others out there in the market, and Brandon's response was because they add what they believe is a fair margin. So as long as we're talking about the wholesale cost of oils with equivalent qualities, then that's just how much they should be. Equivalent is a key word here. There's a lot to take into account. And so much that goes into the creation of a product. So even with a fair margin, certain products will still come out as being more expensive than others. There are products out there that are indeed ripoffs, but then there are also ones that are just not. The cost of their goods are just more expensive. Now for the Drunk Elephant Virgin Marula Oil, this comes in at 7 times the price. So let's talk a little bit about the differences. First of all, I mean the packaging. The packaging is luxury, it's beautiful, it's customized, and it also has this last drop dropper, which is designed with a reservoir at the bottom of this bottle so that the pipette can pick up every last drop of product. So you're not going to have all this like awkward maneuvering as you get to the bottom of the product, or abandon the pipette altogether and just kind of like pour it out on your hand, where you usually will get too much. The Ordinary, on the other hand, as I've discussed before, is a brand built on a concept of no frills, no extras. So they use your sort of basic stock bottle, dropper bottle. This doesn't have a last drop dropper. In fact, the pipette sort of ends a few millimeters above the bottom of the bottle. So getting to the bottom of this is just going to be a little more awkward. So the main way in which these two oils differ, and that this differs from the other Marula oils as well, is in the way that the oil is processed. In fact, they use a patented processing. This is a very expensive extraction process, but it ensures that the Marula oil is even more nutrient dense and even more stable and has a much longer shelf life. This won't go rancid for about 3 years. That is about at least a year longer than the shelf life of any other oil. I got this almost a year and a half ago, and I have to say it is still fresh as a daisy. It's like brand spanking new still, which is great because if you're someone with a skin type where you only want to wear this certain seasons, this will last you a few of those seasons. So this extraction process not only makes this a more potent oil, but it also contributes to why I believe the texture is so light. This feels even less greasy and is even faster absorbing. It's very elegant. In fact, when I first started using this, I felt like this was a dry oil that was better suited for oily skin. I'm used to oils being sort of oily, sitting on top of your skin for a little bit. This just kind of disappeared, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much now, because it is so non-invasive, but at the same time, it is one of the only oils that I found to be very, very transformative for me. It's made my skin feel so much softer and smoother throughout the winter, and I feel like when I use this, I actually need less product, which, you know, is wonderful. The texture of this does feel more lightweight than this to me. This is already lightweight in comparison to the other Marula oils I've tried. When I apply this though, it feels like it's watery, it just kind of sinks into the skin. It's not like a greasy, there's no greasiness even as you're patting it in. Because of this, I actually believe this is better for all skin types, whereas I feel like some of you with oily skin might find this a little on the heavy side. This in particular, I feel like when I mix this with other products, it helps the other products sink in better. This is of low molecular weight, so it just kind of gets in there. All Drunk Elephant products are also fair trade, which ensures fair wages, labor, that's all part of the cost of goods. I feel like which one you will prefer depends a lot on what you personally care about. If it's not on your budget, then get this. This is a great dupe, and I prefer this over all the other Marula oils out there. As for this one, it is 7 times more expensive. That being said, it is still not the most expensive oil I've bought. There are oils out there that are twice the price of this. Would I rather pay less than $10 for Marula oil? I think what makes it hard though is that this is the first Marula oil I tried, and it's the one that made me fall in love with Marula oil. Had my first experience been this, then I probably wouldn't have liked it as much. Not that this is bad, it's actually a different enough experience for me. I think there's a lesser discrepancy when you're talking about the Ordinary. It's really hard to argue with $9.90 and $72. We're talking about such a huge gap in price. So yeah, I mean, if you really want to try out Marula oil and you don't want to invest the money, then try this. So bottom line, this is the Bentley of Marula oils. This is a fantastic dupe. So I hope you found this helpful. I know a lot of you, so many of you were asking me to compare the two. So I hope this gives you an informed idea of what the differences between them are. As always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye.